It's 8:01. Let's hear from you. What are your wins, your celebrations?
So for me, for whatever week this resonated, if your community don't know you, then you don't exist. So I started thinking about, because like my community, mainly a lot of my clients are military, and I do have a LinkedIn account that, I've worked on in the past. I would say probably like last year. So this week I've been focusing on just, making it more towards real estate. And then, obviously I know a lot of people, but I keep finding more and more people that I'm like, oh, I used to work with them. I used to work with them. So I'm going to start using that as my lead generation as well.
If your community don't know you, you don't exist. So go get them to know you. I love that. Love that. Carry on. Next, you guys, I
Are we
will
doing wins?
I will throw this out there.
Yes, because you give a fuck.
I do today. Here, you guys. I give you one. I give you one.
When I grabbed the lockbox yesterday, Dan, I picked it up and I was like, I wonder if he's given any fucks lately.
I have one out. I have one ready to give to someone.
So great. That's my win. That listing goes live today.
Heck yeah. And she's gonna go show a listing of mine today. Ha ha.
Sure am.
My win is that you guys are on with me today. I had a beautiful chat yesterday with Caitlin for about 30 minutes on some really, really tough properties that she's working on. And I want to say that I'm proud of her for tackling some difficult situations. So keep it up, girl.
What's tough
Thank
about
you.
them? Share it.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
it's it's a it's an extremely unique property. It's right downtown. It was previously a commercial building and it's called the Warehouse. But they have it where it's listed at. The appraisal is just going to be really hard because there's literally no other comp to it. Um, and my client is doing a DSCR loan, so you have to have like his appraisal has to meet a certain number to be able to fund his loan. So I was having Dan help me comp the property. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. It's right off First Ave, like right behind Tucson High.
Oh, that's awesome. Is he using it for commercial purposes or it's now residential?
So it's now residential, and the owner won it in a divorce, and they were originally using it as a student rental, and then it just got too much for her, so she turned it into an Airbnb. And even now she profits quite a bit on it, but she lives out of state. She just doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
How many bedrooms is it? What's he going to use it as, like a rental for student housing also?
Yeah, so he's going to use it for a rental as student housing also. It's a 6-bed, 5-bath, only 2 rooms share a bathroom, but it has a deck up on top. It's all this like industrialized it almost looks like the inside of a cruise ship, honestly. It's kind of funky.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get it
but it's really
top.
cool. Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you get it? That sounds like a perfect like sorority or fraternity house.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what he would use it for. We're trying to come. Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm dropping my kids off. We're trying to come to an agreement on price. Because it's so unique, they originally listed it at a million, a million 20. Yes, a million 20. And they've come down. The biggest thing is the property is all cash flow, so it's straight paid, or it's all paid off by now. And Dan had said that they're most likely going to take the cost approach to the appraisal. Come on.
I was gonna say because they probably turn what, 6 grand off of it. Are they running it $1,000 a room?
So for the Airbnb that she's running it right now, they
Oh yeah.
said that you could get more money, but she maxes it at 500 a night. But Airbnb is trying to push her to do 700 a night. Um, she's grossing like 5,000 a month though. Yeah, right over 5,000 a month. But they're saying like it could be much higher than that. She's just not trying to.
They have a pool?
No. No, it doesn't have a pool. I'll send you the yeah, I'll put the address in the chat
That
so you
sounds
can see it.
super exciting.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm hoping we'll be able to get something worked out today. I have a call with my client in like 8:45. Come on.
Hope's not a strategy, Caitlin. You're gonna get it worked out today.
Yes, you're right. I'm getting it worked out today.
That's super awesome.
And that was my win, was Dan helping me, because it was really difficult, and then I felt a lot better after we had talked.
It tends to happen when you guys have tough situations. You call me, it's almost like, oh, it's not that bad, because it isn't. You know the difference between a difficult buyer and a normal buyer and an easy buyer, if you will? The questions they ask. But then you're gonna, Maggie, where are you? Are you in Sweden?
I know. It's like so green. Like, what the heck?
That's funny because I was just about to say that too. I'm like, where the heck is she?
Is that a beehive? Quick, before she gets off mute, let's all just comment and try to guess it.
I am at my son's baseball tournament in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Check this
Oh.
out.
Oh, that's fun.
I used to live
Look
near
at
there. So that's gorgeous.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh yeah, Steamboat's awesome in the winter too. It's great snowboarding.
Wow.
Yeah, my big ass snowboarded.
But Sweden would be nice too.
Yeah,
Are you doing social media while you're there?
she will.
Yeah.
What she's actually doing while she's there is writing offers on assumable VA loans at 9 o'clock at night.
There's
I
that.
love that.
I may or may not
And
know.
I may have more questions for you later.
Then I'll have answers, guys. This is one of the things, is use the community, ask questions.
I love me some assumable VA loans.
Gotta love those. All right, continuing on our conversations yesterday, who used some of the things we talked about yesterday in practice? Who remembers what we talked about yesterday?
I did.
Tell me more.
Exactly. Tell me more. I talked with my clients and that are coming out here from California today, and we were talking about like 2 other houses that they had wanted to add, and I said, why do you guys want to add these? They're like, oh, they're right by the other ones. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. And then then we came to the conclusion that they didn't even want to add them anyway, so it saved us 2 houses to go see.
There you go. So there's always this principle I want you guys to remember. It's the 3 things, right? To save you time, to serve you better, and to save you money or get you top dollar, right? It's money. It's time, ease, and funds. In an effort to save you some time, is there any houses on this list that you're kind of about? Hey, to make sure I service you best, what are you looking for in a home? So, love that. Anyone else?
I do like that because that's way better than what's going on in my brain, which is I cannot effing believe this MFer and these number of houses. I like the way you phrase that much better. In order to save you time, which of these can we cut from the list?
Can't make it about us. Like, well, guys, I only show 3 houses, and you've got 7 on this list. Which 4 on the chopping block? No, it's, hey, an effort to save you some time.
Man, I am just like way over top. Like, is there like an average number on this call? Maybe that's just a stupid question of like number of houses shown. Because if you guys legit only show 3 houses.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
like way over that.
I legit only show 3 houses.
See, I tried that, and we're still at 8 right now, I think, but I didn't add 2 more, so that was like better, but yeah.
I legit don't deal with buyers very often.
I also don't deal with buyers very often.
So the ones I'm under contract with now, I showed the wife 9 houses, downtown through central. Then we looked at 2 others that were closer to the north side that they liked. And so I took the husband, when the husband got in town, now I've got all the decision makers, we only looked at 3 houses. But the wife really needed to understand what she was looking at, and then she's like, "Okay, I'm going to tell the husband this is what we want." And boom, 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 boom. Third house under contract.
Can we look at objection handling when people say, well, I want to look at all 8?
Sure. What is it about looking at all 8 that's important to you?
I just, they all fit my bill, and I want to see them all.
Have you driven by the neighborhoods of each one?
Yeah, I drive by at night just to get a feel for the neighborhood.
Oh.
But they all look generally the same neighborhood.
Okay.
Can we practice them being out of state?
No, that's even tougher.
Yes, because I had an out-of-state guy come. He had 42 houses he wanted to see over a weekend.
no.
42.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I narrowed the list down to, I think, 12. And he still was like, no, I want to see them all. I need to see them. I don't know what they look like until I'm there.
Great.
42.
Here's how I'm handling that. I'm getting a retainer fee.
Amen. Right?
If you want me to drive around to 40 fucking houses, good, fantastic. You're out of town. You're paying me for it. $20 a door, $800.
I'd pull the
how
old,
do you do that?
hey, yeah. It's in there. You just probably don't ever do anything with it. I would pull the whole, God, it just lost my brain. Hold on, you guys, my meds haven't kicked in yet.
California, it's in there too, by the way.
Same thing, Christina. When you got too much information, you're going to forget half the stuff we looked at anyways.
Preach.
So why don't we just narrow down? You know what, Maggie, I completely understand you got to see all 40 of them in order for you to get a sense and vibe for it. I get that. Of those 40, what are your top 5?
Oh, I remembered the whole, like, can I share with you what the process that works for most of my clients? And then encourage them to do their own drive around so they can check out the neighborhood, because odds are you're going to nix over half of those from the list before you even step inside the house. And then we can prioritize and focus on the real winners and the ones that you want to get inside of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was just it. He was coming from California, and we had gone a weekend before and saw probably 12 houses, and then he was coming again, and he just kept being very persistent. So I was like, okay, well, I used some of the things that you mentioned last time to narrow these down to 12, and he was still like, no, I want to see all 42. I'm going to be there. I need to see them. And I'm just like, yeah.
So what's important about seeing all 42, Maggie?
I tried asking him.
That's the thing. If you're looking at 12 houses and you're coming back and look at 42, you clearly don't know what you want.
Right.
And Maggie, my job is to make sure that we get you into a home that matches your needs. So why don't we sit down and talk about what you're looking for? What are your must-haves? So that I can help save you some time, give you the best service, and make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your buck.
If we're looking at 42, you better be buying 10 of them.
Jim talks real big. I guarantee Jim would never say that.
That's fact. Well, I mean, I might.
Neither would I.
Depends on the investor, but that's true.
That's the thing is, because if you got so many, right? If 40 of them are all the same, I get that, right? You're in a buyer's market. There's 10,000 homes on the market. You may be showing a lot of different houses because there might be 4 that are identical, and your buyers be able to be picky enough to pick between which one they like the counters the best. And they're four houses on the same street. You're like, I like this backyard better. I like this kitchen better. Oh, this one had a better view of the mountain because it was like one lot closer, right? It could be that simple, but we're not there yet.
I would lean into, like you said, Dan, the excitement of it, where you're just like, I love that you're finding so many. We're definitely in a buyer's market right now. There's a ton of options out there. Why don't I do this? Let me go through the list. I'll tell you which ones of those are vacant, because that'll take you 5 minutes. Just look them up. And then that way, you know which ones you have carte blanche, walk the property, take a look around, really dig into it. And let's get this narrowed down. Let's identify your top 10 and let's prioritize those, because obviously we've got limited time this weekend. In order to save you time, let's really pare this thing down and maximize our efforts here. Because if it's vacant, freaking have at it, dude.
Yeah, rock and
Walk
roll.
through the backyard, check it out. That's what I've often sent my buyers. I'm like, why don't you guys, I'm not, based on what you're telling me, I'm not 100% sure if this is the right one. It could be, totally could be. But do me a favor, why don't you guys drive through the neighborhood? Why don't you check it out? If it looks solid, let me know. We'll make an appointment. We'll get inside it. But otherwise, if you can tell him which ones are vacant, then he can go and walk it and walk in the backyard, you know, do his own due diligence first and then be like, yeah, you're right. This one sucks.
I hope that helps.
I do love the retainer fee idea if they're absolutely persistent.
Absolutely.
And that's an easy discussion too. Look, I've got expenses, I've got, you know, time I'll be investing to protect myself and protect you. I'll need this up front.
So I haven't ever actually used that with anybody, but I've been thinking before about how to phrase that. The way I kind of think about it, and let me know what you guys think of this, is to say, great, that sounds awesome. You know, something about to the effect of like, not my standard rater, but like, you know, part of my services for you includes like, we can see up to this amount per day. If you'd like to, you know, reserve my time for longer than that, let's talk about what that looks like and get a retainer fee. Because there should be an expectation of because they're not your only client, and there has to be that understanding. Otherwise, I feel like all the way through the deal, they're just going to be a time stealer and have these expectations that you're there like at all times when they need you.
If you don't honor the importance of your time, your clients won't either.
And that was going to be my next point too, is if I have a client that's so persistent that they want to see 42 homes and they're not listening to my advice, they're not, you know, going off of anything I see, they're not being participatory in the search process after I've shown them 87 properties to pick from. Are they the kind of client that's not going to drop me at the, you know, flip of a dime to go find somebody that will show them 42 properties?
Well, that's kind of why I'm like, how do we finesse that and have that conversation or set that expectation maybe in like the buyer's consultation? You know, may I tell you what, you know, kind of how the process goes with most of my clients, or can I share with you my experience with most of these clients? This is how we end up finding the right one, and kind of set that expectation of approximately how many, you know, people, like after an average of 6 homes, normally, you know, you found the winner. And then as you're going through the buyer broker, you know, we're not gonna do anything up front now, as we've already gone through all this. But we can get to that later if it looks like we're kind of having a hard time finding the right property and maybe we need to ramp up our time and efforts here. Then we can talk about reserving more time to go and look at more options.
I'll tell you what, out of 42 properties, one of them better be the right one.
Listen, you guys, I'm not that's probably about how many I saw with that one client I told you guys about that looked at the property 6 times and didn't even get that one. That's why I just straight up, I was like, dude, go at nighttime. It's vacant. Go whenever it is vacant. You have at it. Go stand in the backyard and to your heart's content and look at that view.
What time should you send your clients to go look at the houses?
I like after work hours or like morning when it depends on what's a priority to them.
No, I'm going to send them during commute times.
Yeah.
On the way to work or on the way home. Why is that? If you go show a house in the middle of the day that doesn't have very good traffic, you're like, oh, this is nice. It's nice. But if you're showing a house in Tucson, and I'm going to give you an example, Fort Lowell and Stone at 5 p.m. How pissed off are you?
Super pissed.
Right?
The mess.
Rita Ranch, right? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. How pissed are you?
Well, currently, Dan, with all the road construction, Rita Ranch at any time of day, I'm already pissed.
Yeah, but what happens around 3 o'clock?
School gets
Who
out.
gets out?
School gets out.
Yeah.
We got to think about these things. So it's not just, oh, traffic from home. No, you got to look at, okay. Rita Ranch is one of the worst laid out traffic environments, if you're asking me. And the buses go the same route and they stop every 7 feet. I'm like, I'm sorry, your kids can walk an extra 20 feet and just congregate at one stop. But that's just
And Cleveland is awesome with 3 or 4 schools on
the same street. Yeah. That was the thing, is you can talk about that too, is just, hey guys, in an effort to save you time and serve you better, here's my advice. If you do not respect your time and be like, and you're just like, yeah, no problem, we'll go see it, they will abuse you. The first time you respond to a text message at 6 a.m., guess what? Gates open. You're going to get texts like I did this morning at 6:01 a.m. My client also happens to be in Vancouver, so to them it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. I keep adding an extra hour because it's Canada. I don't know why. I just feel like it should be further ahead because they're in Canada. But that's your own doing. And I'm guilty of it because when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep, what do? I work. If y'all get responses from me at the random time of day, it's what I do. But that's the thing, you're setting those precedences. So set the precedent of, guys, if you want to go look at 42 houses, we're not doing that in one day. No. 8, 9 a day max. Why is that?
Drive time, showing time. Like
Drive
it
time,
takes
showing time, and
Overload.
coordinating.
It's overload
They
on
all
the client.
start to blur together.
they all blur together.
After about 5, they really can't
Yeah.
remember the little details.
You can't. And
I always give them, and encourage them, give them the paper with a blank side on the back
Yeah.
so that they can make their own notes. And especially if they want to see a lot of homes. And in my experience, I've just kind of had the conversation. Look, after about 5, you just keep track, let's do 5 this day, 5 this day, let's find, and again, asking them to go drive around the property at different times of the day and to drive around so that they can narrow down which ones they want to see inside, which ones that's necessary.
I try to also in the vein of what Dan was talking about, in order to serve you best and save your time, let me run through these and see if there's any that have factors that you've already shared with me or just going to automatically disqualify them. And I've often put them in an Excel sheet. And there's some that I'll have clients send them to me and I'm like, oh yeah, this looks great. And then I look it up and I'm like, oh, it's in a 55 plus community. They don't qualify for it anyway. And then I can I leave it on the list, but I'll put it in red or I'll, line through it or whatever. And then that narrows it down there and then say, okay, of these, it's realistic for us to see X amount this weekend. So why don't you do this? Go back through the list. Tell me which ones really stand out to you. If there's any others that are close, why don't you drive past them? And we'll determine again, what our top list is.
Can you do that if you haven't had a formal conversation around what they're looking for?
No.
No. So that all pins on that conversation of saying, hey, in an effort to serve you time and to serve you time. Yes, serve your time, you criminal. If an effort to save you time and serve you better, let's talk about what you're looking for. Let's get specific. Let's jump on a Zoom call. Let's jump on a phone call. That way we can go over the must-haves, the want-to-haves, the don't want-to-haves, the absolute nots, and the things that would make it a crispy donut, right? Heck yeah. But then if you don't have that conversation, you're pop-tarting. You're literally just popping up, going to the next house, popping up, going to the next house, popping up, going to the next house. And you're not going to see any consistencies.
I love a good Zoom call with an out-of-state client.
I love Zoom. It's the second best to being in person. As long as you got your cameras on, it's the same thing because you're seeing each other. You're having conversations. People learn and have conversations in different, sensory ways.
Body language.
It's huge. Because if you're looking at a picture and you're like, and the person just goes, oh, you're like, okay, well, what was it about that house that made you go, oh? And then I love the Excel spreadsheet. Then just take the and put it down into a maybe box. Maybe.
That wasn't an that was just indigestion.
Okay. Oh, move it back up. Move it back up. Right? It's that easy. Then you have all the addresses in a list. You can print out the list and you've got keynotes. You have maybe the hyperlinks right there on the Excel sheet where they can click on them. But also you could just drop those addresses into Google and be like, boom, here's all my addresses. Chat GPT, do the fuller. Show me the most efficient path.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff that they can't see when they're looking at these listings. It's once you get into it and you see the agent only remarks, you might see something. It's oh, okay. Well, guess what, guys? This has that, and that's a big no for you. So we'll nix that one for that reason.
That's what your job is, to kind of help save them time and serve them better. And that's going to be your professional expertise One of the daily success metrics we talk about in Ignite is seeing 10 houses, previewing 10 homes. Is it realistic to go out there, especially in the heat of June and July, to go out there to physically look at 10 houses a day? Not unless you're Mikey Whining wearing your welding gloves while you're driving.
Yeah, but that was still only 3 homes.
112 degrees, 114 degrees yesterday, or whatever it was. But here's the thing. Can you look at 10 houses online? Can you study the listing, the comment, the amenities, the photographs, the map where it's at? That becomes your job, is to learn the market and go, okay, this house was built in the 80s. I have a good sense of what style, what layout, what environment, what concerns me. Right? My houses were built in the 70s. I got one built in 78 and one built in 79. Actually, I don't even know when Paseo was built.
I just started doing this like with the clients that I'm working with now is
78.
I had them go on Google Earth and actually look at the community, like put themselves in there. I deal with a lot of people who aren't from here, and one thing that I do have a problem with is like having them go by the neighborhoods first. But especially with these people, we were able to cross 3 houses off of our list just because of what was backing up to them.
There you go. I love that. Google Earth gives you a ton of flexibility there too. I'm sorry. I got stuck looking down memory lane on the house I bought a few years ago and renovated.
Street view can be important too for all the cars on their street.
Street view, big part of Google Street View, and then you have also the commutes, the routing, how close it is to the freeway. These are all things that people don't realize when they're shopping at houses, but when they're out driving around, they're like, oh my God, it was a pain in the butt to get to. Or, hey, I like that it was close to this, this, and this. Or, where's the closest grocery store? 20 minutes away? No, thank you. Because we can't really say, oh, it's close to medical services or it's close to the school, because those can be seen as fair housing issues. But when you say close to services, close to shopping, close to transportation, close is very relative. What if, and I saw this yesterday and I was thinking about it, it just popped up now. There's a lady going up Ina. Ina is one of the busiest thoroughfares in Tucson. It goes north and south. Sorry, east and west, not north and south. It goes east and west. And there's a lady in rush hour traffic in a modal, what do they call the mobile scooters, the utility scooters, going up Ina, just traveling up Ina. And there was a big section that she's at between Shannon, or between Old Father, not Old Father, what is that one? Mona Lisa and Shannon. There's no sidewalks. So she has to come into the roadway to go up. Now, she may not have bought a house or something like that, but that could be a condition where someone who needs those type of things, that is going to be less than traversable, might need to know, hey, there are no sidewalks. Or they're easy for you to get from your house across the bridge into the grocery store. Boom. But do you know that if you don't have a formal conversation with them and find out the needs and wants of their lifestyle?
Something I started doing, and I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'm a big Excel fan. Keeping notes of different neighborhoods, like things that I learned. So I'll put like the community name, and then I'll put notes for myself, like relevant things, like because certain neighborhoods, you can't park even in your own driveway after a certain time. So if I've got a household that they're looking and they've got a family and they have a couple teenage drivers or whatever, that's not going to fly. You're not going to be able to get all those in a 2-car garage. So I've just been finding it as I learn more about these different communities, that I've been kind of keeping myself notes on different things so I can reference back to that and say, and then I just look like a freaking fantastic expert, because I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you, this one has this, this, or this. And they're like, wow, you really know Tucson.
Be the expert, know the market.
Also, if it's helpful for anyone, I can always share it on the call tomorrow too, but I'm finishing up an Excel sheet that's got all the list of all the new build communities, and it's tabbed by MLS area of town.
Yes, please.
I was gonna I need to add a new page to it and throw my contacts on the first page. You might have different people that you connect with, but that way if you don't have a person for that area, or maybe I'll just put a column next to I'll probably do that.
Yeah,
Because most of them are community specific.
if you want to be on the call tomorrow, you're more than welcome to be. I'm
Oh
not.
yeah, funny, haha. I forgot it was Saturday. Listen, we don't take holidays or weekends.
I do. I'm going to Bisbee tomorrow.
Ooh, fun.
I heard it's gonna be less than 150 degrees. I'm going there. I'm gonna sit inside the mine for a while. All right, guys, you learned something today. It was worth your time.
Yes.
Matt, thank you for bringing up
Yes.
the guys. Thank you so much for sharing back and forth. Great conversation, good energies. Let's go out and do something crazy this weekend. I don't know, like sell a house.
100%.
Wicked crazy, right? Not going.